Well, hello and welcome to the Win TV Weekend News. Today is Saturday, March 29th, 2008. I'm Naylan Dwarika with you. Good evening. In the headlines, murder toll climbs to 102 after Maloney gang violence. CPEP and URP programs criticized again. And Sewag fails to take Lara's crown. 2 more murders have pushed the national toll to 102 after just 91 days. Police say the two are linked and are part of an upsurge in gang warfare in Maloney. In the first incident, around 8:15 last night, 20-year-old Sean Bain was speaking with a friend outside Building 4 in Maloney when 4 men walked up to them and opened fire. Mr. Bain's friend ran off as he whipped out his own gun and started shooting back at the men, forcing them to flee. When the gun smoke cleared, Mr. Bain was laying on the ground bleeding. He was rushed to the Arima District Hospital where he died while undergoing emergency surgery. And just 1 hour later, police say the revenge attack took place. Detectives say that 25-year-old Otis Calvary was outside his Building 13 apartment when a lone gunman walked up to him and started shooting. Mr. Calvary ran into his living room to escape the bullets, but the gunman followed him in, making sure he was dead before leaving the scene. The victim was well known as a shoe vendor at Curep Junction. Police say both men were small-time drug pushers. Nutrimix Flour Mills has installed 6 new silos in order to make room for more wheat. This expansion comes amidst growing concerns over the escalating price of flour on the local market. Earlier this week, NFM CEO Anthony Joseph announced an increase in the price of flour, citing escalating demand for wheat in China and India and a decrease in exporters as major reasons for its decision.
We are price takers, and therefore now we have to make the decision in terms of how do we adjust our prices of flour, because 70%, basically between 70 and 72% of the input cost of the final flour product is wheat.
However, while NFM had said prices would go up on Tuesday, which is April Fool's Day, wholesalers started paying up to 30% more for flour since yesterday. Now Nutrimix has decided to tackle the problem from another angle. The company is moving ahead with its grain facility expansion, which will have bulk storage capacity in excess of 45,000 metric tons. Nutrimix Flour Mills project coordinator Salim Mohammed explains.
So, to facilitate this expansion, so as soon as back up, we're going to increase in the production of the flour too. And there will be more capacity to bring in more wheat also.
Social programs such as CPEP and URP are not the answer to preventing crime among youths. That's according to the president of the Council of Elders of the Spiritual Baptist and Shelter Baptist Faiths, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke. She says such programs only create more problems.
And the amount of 4 men that get gunned down is, we can't count the numbers of them, because they don't want God. They don't want God, yet more you preach to them and tell them, look, this is wrong and that is wrong. They don't want to hear. All they want is a joint, to have the head nice, and let them stay. With that nice head, they live with the head nice, and the dead with the head nice.
She says crime has gone out of control because youths are not taking stock of their lives.
They don't want to educate themselves. They don't want, everything is a disrespect. They don't even know what is the meaning of disrespect. And if they want, they have no aeroplane, they have no boat, they have nothing. They want to go off on drunks and let the smart people use them. Well, let them stay there until they get sense.
Archbishop Grayburg says young people expect the world to deliver a secure future at their doorsteps, and when that does not happen, they move on to the next viable option. But according to the outspoken Baptist leader, selling drugs is not the answer.
They would have to keep their own drugs, smoke it themselves, and go mad for themselves. But they bring the drugs, give the dotish black men, and the dotish black men intend to sell it because they're going to get an SUV vehicle, or they will have a nice car, What sense you have the nice car and you're going to soon die by the bullet?
Well, it's about time now for a quick break, but stay tuned. When we come back, some more local news for you. Well, hello, welcome back to the Win TV Weekend News. After months of clamoring, Justices of the Peace have begun a two-day workshop which they hope will solve several problems that they face. The JPs have expressed concern about stipends as well as security measures following attacks on their members in the past. Attorney General Bridget Anisette George assured those gathered that their concerns will be addressed.
This two-day workshop as a significant step in deepening the levels of collaboration amongst key stakeholders and arriving at solutions to the myriad of problems that exist.
The AG also touched on another issue plaguing the JP system.
There are many dedicated and hard-working Justices of the Peace who discharge their responsibilities with integrity and at great expense and risk to themselves and their families. At the end of this exercise, I hope to have a working report which will constitute a policy framework that will inform the necessary administrative and legislative changes.
Motorists in this country have no compassion, according to the family of a Faizabad man who was killed in an accident yesterday. Reports are that 25-year-old James Mahabir was walking along Mondesi Delai Road on his way home from work when he was hit by a vehicle heading in the opposite direction. His mother says the grief is almost too much to bear.
I find that as well unfair that they're supposed to act like human beings. If they know they hit, they should stop and say something, not just hit and run. Nobody wouldn't do a thing like that. I don't know how people could live with that. They go to bed and know they hit somebody and kill somebody there and they just go to sleep like that and they will think about other people. I think that is not right. But it's our God above watching.
The distraught mother says she was at home when she got a message that something had happened to James and she rushed to the scene outside the accident. She says she knew something was drastically wrong when other members of her family tried to prevent her from seeing her son.
I tell them, no, don't stop me. Let me go and see what happened to my son because I make him, he's my child. I want to see what happened. And when I went there, I see my son in a pool of blood. It wasn't easy for me. I couldn't take it. Last night was something else. I can't cry again, I have no tears in my eyes. I begin to cry. Because the whole night I didn't sleep. Thinking about my child.
We shall overcome. That's the message coming from Archbishop of the Grenada-based Children of the Light Archdiocese International, John Noel. The Shouter Baptist population in South Trinidad raised their voices and hearts in prayers, seeking a special blessing for the Twin Islands state. The country has been gripped in the arms of terror, with capital crimes like kidnapping and murder spiraling out of control. Archbishop Noel likened the current fight to the one faced by members of the Shouter Baptist faith.
That our ancestors used to be fighting. And praise God, they hold on to the faith because they did not allow the situation and the condition that surround them to overcome them. In other words, it was their attitude to the trials and the tribulation that they was going through that brings.
The internationally renowned Baptist leader notes that more has to be done now that we have overcome, he says, the hurdles that existed. He believes, however, that the answers were present within the Baptist faith.
Back the street corners, and you need to take back the ears and the minds of the youths. You need to let them be convicted that when they go home, they have something to think about. Don't matter what they will say about you. Ring your bell and preach the word. Because it's not you, but it's the Holy Spirit working through you that is doing the work.
The Child Welfare League is proof that we still have a caring society. That's according to the First Lady while addressing the Child Welfare League's 90th anniversary celebration at the Crown Plaza Hotel. She explains that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is working towards improving social services in this country, and that's according to the Minister of Social Development, Amory Brown, as well. The minister made this promise while addressing the 90th anniversary celebrations of the Child Welfare League held last evening. Well, with that, we take a quick break, but when we come back, we take a look at what's going on in the region. Well, hundreds of local fans of Jamaican dancehall artist Movado are now disappointed after a magistrate in Jamaica seized the travel documents of the superstar following a court hearing in Kingston yesterday. David Brooks, popularly known as Movado, was also granted bail in the sum of $200,000 after he was charged with 2 counts of shooting with intent and possession of a firearm and ammunition. After granting bail to the superstar, the magistrate also ordered that he report to the police station every day until his next court appearance on May 27th. The entertainer, who promotes himself as a gangster for life, is accused of shooting at 2 people on July 27th last year. However, the promoters of the show say they remain optimistic that the entertainer would make his appearance in Tobago next Friday and here in Trinidad the following day. Meanwhile, Movado's non-appearance on Sunday has gone down well with the local police, who are expecting gang violence in and around the show, which was set to take place at the Oval. Jamaica's Ministry of Health, boosted by the injection of $100 million from the government, says it is set for the April 1st removal of user fees at public hospitals and clinics, which will make healthcare available for thousands more Jamaicans. Health Minister Roddy Spencer, who said yesterday that everything was in place for the implementation of the new policy, said that $60 million had already been dispersed to the regional health authorities to carry out immediate upgrade work. The money will also be used to purchase additional chairs, filing cabinets, and tents to accommodate the projected 30% increase in patients expected on that date. The remaining $40 million, he said, has been earmarked to purchase small equipment and medical supplies such as suction machines and nebulizers. At least 15,000 bags are stranded at Heathrow Airport after a 3rd day of cancellations at the new Terminal 5. The news came after 1/5 of British Airways flights from the troubled terminal were scrapped on Saturday, 67 out of the 330 scheduled. Many passengers said they departed on flights after being told that their luggage would not be traveling with them. A further 37 flights have been cancelled for Sunday. The airline has also scrapped its £100 limit for delayed passengers' hotels. The 5th terminal opened amid great fanfare on Thursday, but problems with the baggage handling system and staff familiarization quickly derailed the operations. A total of 208 flights in and out the terminal were cancelled during the first 3 days. Police in Brazil are investigating claims by a 16-year-old boy that he has murdered 12 people. The boy made the claim after being arrested on suspicion of murder last week in the southern city of Novo Hamburgo, its police commissioner said. The teenager's identity has not been revealed because he is a minor. Police said the boy claimed he had killed in fits of rage or to get revenge, and in one case, because someone wanted to date his sister. The boy was arrested on Wednesday on suspicion of killing a 39-year-old shop owner. Police Commissioner Enizaldo Plenz said the number of murders could be higher or lower. The teenager will undergo psychological tests for the next 45 days. And that's a look at what's going on outside TNT. Stay tuned when we come back. Sport and your weather report. And welcome back to the Win TV Weekend News. Time for a look at some of the top stories in the world of sport. The Prince of Port of Spain retains his crown as Verinda Sehwag failed to conquer Brian Lara's Everest of 400 test runs. Resuming at Friday's score of 468 for 1, Sehwag and Rahul Dravid stretched their second wicket partnership to 268 before Sehwag fell in the 6th over of the day. Having joined Australia's Don Bradman and Lara as the only men to score 2 Test triple centuries, Sehwag added only 10 runs to his overnight score before edging paceman Makhaya Ntini, who made 3 for 28, into the hands of Mackenzie at first slip. His innings of 319, which was the fastest triple century since the number of balls were first recorded, included 43 fours and 5 sixes of 304 deliveries in 9 overs. South Africa claimed 9 wickets in the first 2 sessions to dismiss India for 627. It was then Neil Mackenzie who hit an unbeaten 59 to steer the Tourists to 131 in its second innings at stumps. TNT have posted a healthy lead of 267 runs at stumps today as the Carib Bear series continues at the Guaracara Park. After a massive first innings total of 407, the hosts whittled out Barbados for a paltry 184 before taking up the bat again. At stumps, the scoreboard read 31 without loss with Adrian Barrett on 21 and William Perkins on 6. Barbados' Suleiman Ben had best bowling figures of 4 for 136, while the local boys Ahmed Jagannath and Riyad Emirates shared 3 wickets apiece, with Dave Tadpole Mohammed taking 2 and Ravi Rampal 1. The top 22 female cricketers in the West Indies will assemble in Barbados from April 3rd to 11th for a high-performance clinic and training camp. Tony Howard, Chief Cricket Operations Officer of the West Indies Board, says the 9-day event will be used to introduce the squad to cutting-edge preparation techniques and to the level of physical conditioning required to be competitive internationally. This will also be the start of preparation for the West Indies women's team for the ICC Women's World Cup, which is scheduled for Australia in early 2009. The West Indies placed 5th at the last World Cup in South Africa in 2005. This guaranteed them an automatic place in next year's event. Some 5 TNT players are expected to be part of that camp. In a bit of boxing news, TNT's female world champion Giselle Salandi will be looking to make yet another successful title defense when she faces Karolina Lukasik from Poland. The two will square off against the main bout at the Marvin Lee Stadium. Should be exciting. In some football news, Manchester United stretched their lead at the Premier League summit to 6 points with a stunning 4-0 display over Aston Villa. Cristiano Ronaldo's outrageous flick started the agony for Aston Villa after 17 minutes, and he provided Carlos Tevez with a simple second before half-time. Wayne Rooney rounded Scott Carson for a third after 53 minutes, and he slid home with the fourth as well with 20 minutes left after more superb creativity from Ronaldo. Sean Maloney missed Villa's best chance, but United were outstanding according to the pundits there. After the match, Aston Villa manager Martin O'Neill admitted that Man U gave a splendid performance. He said the scoreline was pretty strong, but Villa had 1 or 2 good chances, and that would have made it more respectable. Well, it's about time for a quick look at the weather. The Met Office says for the period tonight into tomorrow, Trinidad and Tobago tonight should be mostly fair, apart from the isolated shower. Tomorrow should be fair to partly cloudy and breezy at times, with the isolated shower as well. Seas are moderate to rough still, with waves up to 3 meters in open water and up to 2 meters in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 24 degrees Celsius, down from today's high of 32 degrees. And before we go, a recap of the headlines. Murder toll climbs to 102 after Maloney gang violence. CPEP and URP programs criticized again, and Sehwag fails to take Lara's crown. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of the Win TV Weekend News. On behalf of the technical staff and crew, I am Naylan Dwarika, hoping that you have a great evening and that you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.